Hey guys, welcome to the first live Q&A in a long time. Actually, we haven't done one for a fair while, but today we hit 5,000 subscribers on the channel, so I thought to celebrate, let's do a live Q&A for all your incoming questions, because obviously I make the videos on what I think would be useful. However, you'll each have your individual questions and things you want to talk about or things you want to ask on here. So I thought, let's go and do a live Q&A. And yeah, if there's any questions you've got about Royal Marines, training, nutrition, military life, just anything like that, then I'm more than happy to answer questions. Shirt I'm wearing at the moment is one of our new tops, just trying it at the moment, and that will be released hopefully this month. So if you want to purchase one of them, we've got the complete Commando website that is getting sorted at the moment, so that will be up and running as well hopefully this month. Yeah, first question, pot of fun. How much time do you spend cleaning and training? So you'll spend every single day of your Royal Marines recruit training career, and also as a Royal Marine you will clean, whether it's your bedroom, the toilets, your rifle, obviously your own admin, your own shirts, your own clothes, etc. So for instance, if we talk through like an average day in recruit training, every time you wear some clothing, you have to wash it. So if I wear this rig now, and then I'm just around in the day in this rig, whether I've exercised or not, you have to wash it. So that night you will definitely be cleaning your rig. But obviously in true Royal Marines fashion, you're going to be in about 10 bits of kit every single day. So you'll have your rig that you're wearing, then you'll go and have fizz. That's the rig you've got to do. And then you've got to go down and say like bottom field, or you've got to go weapon stances. That's another set of rig that you've got to clean. And then whatever it is. So you're talking like 3 or 4 rigs a day. Then you've got most days you'll be cleaning like your rifle or the troop weapons. You've got your grots to clean. Then you've got like communal areas. So the stairs, the toilets will all need cleaning, the ablutions and all that. So I would say on average, cleaning alone is like easily 30, 40 minutes a day. Then when you come out the field, obviously you've been in the field, pee wet through, muddy, everything like that. You've got to sort all your admin out, and it's got to be immaculate for the next day, where you'll have rounds and you'll have a kit inspection. So when you come out the field, you're talking a good 2-3 hours easily of cleaning, if you've been in the field for like 2-3 days. So yeah, you've got all that to look forward to. Just give us a thumbs up if you can hear me, lads. Ladies, just want to make sure that this mic's working correctly. Happy days. Which part of training was the hardest for you? It's a great question, Toby. I would say it was probably the admin side of it. So I was 19 years old at the time, very physically fit, but my admin wasn't the greatest. So what I mean by admin is like just being so safe. Right, we finish at 4:30. You've got till the next day to sort your life out. You've got 100 jobs to do. You've got your map reading to do. You've got, like we just spoke about, all your cleaning, all your admin there, whatever comes with it. Then you'll have details in the evening, whether it be sorting out team stores or whatever. And I was just a little bit unprepared for all that, because I'd come from being 19 years old, just literally monging it, to all of a sudden I've got like details. I've got to be at certain places at the right time, right rig, right attitude and all that. And I really struggled with that. The physicality side of it, I enjoyed. Obviously it's really hard regardless of how fit you are, but it was actually something that I quite enjoyed. So I'd say was the admin, and just the longevity of training is, you're Limpston for minimum 9 months. and just being in that environment of scrutiny and under the microscope for 9 months, just, it just weighs down on you. So I think those would probably be the two things: the longevity of training, just the constant scrutiny for 9 months, and just the admin. But they're both things that you get used to, and they're both things that if you stick with it, you can improvise, adapt, overcome, and it just becomes part and parcel. It's like physical training, progressive overload. If we're talking about, say, a bench press, for instance, say if your 1 rep max was 100 kilos, what you would do is then strip it back to about 70% of that and just work at 5 reps, sets of 5 reps at 70%, and you gradually build that until eventually you're banging out 5 reps at your old 1 rep max of 100 kilo. Same as military training. The stress, you begin to, they land quite hard on you, but then it's progressive overload. You gradually build a tolerance to that stress until by the end of the training you can deal with all the stress they throw at you. You wouldn't put like a week 1 recruit into the 30 miler because they simply wouldn't be ready for it. So they are the masters of getting you ready. And as long as you get through the pre-joining fitness test and ROP, you'll be ready to start Royal Marines training. What's it like getting to your first unit for the first time? Very daunting, actually, mate. If you think you've been at Limpston for 9 months and as I said, you've adapted to the stresses of that, you've gradually built your way up into a position of, say, authority, your king squad. All the other recruits are looking at you and they want to be in your position because you've just passed out and you feel like you're a bit of a legend. And then all of a sudden you go from top of the pile to boom, straight down at the bottom of the pile again, because you're obviously a new unit. You're a sprog now. People have done 20 years. They've done three tours of Afghan and Iraq, etc. And you're there, wet behind the ears, straight out of training. So it's daunting. There's something called sprog routine. So, you're a brand new Royal Marine. They've got respect for you because obviously you've just passed out of Royal Marine training. That's no mean feat. But they need to sort of notch you down a peg because you might be full of pride. So you get sprog routine. You're doing all the wets, like making teas and coffees and volunteering for every job under the sun. Get treated a little bit crap, but it's all in jest. But yeah, so it's a bit daunting, but it's all about how willing you are to get stuck in. Like I would say to anyone who's going to their first unit straight out of training, ping yourself for everything. Be the volunteer. Make them think, oh, this lad's a good bloke. You're there. You want to impress. Like any job, you want to give good first impressions. They're so important. And so don't try and be the grey man at a new unit. Volunteers for all the gas jobs. Lads will start saying, oh, this lad's, he's a good lad, and he's volunteering for everything, and that goes a long way. But just remember one thing as well, as daunting as it is, every single person who's been in the military has had to go through that as well. So what one man can do, another man can do. Full respect to you, Beauty. My son's going through at the moment. Thank you for all your advice. Brilliant to hear, mate. Appreciate that. And all the best to your son. If he's, I'm here at the end of Instagram and YouTube and stuff. So if he wants to reach out at any point, then I'm always down the end of one of those places. So yeah, legend. Signed up for the RMR at a ripe age of 30. RIP starts next month. Any advice? Well, first of all, that's great because I see a lot of people saying like, I'm 30. I don't think I should join. I feel like I'm too old. And I think that's nonsense. I'm 31 now, and I'd say I'm in as good a physical position as I've ever been in. If you look after yourself and you're not getting hammered every night and you're not eating crap, then you can do it at 30. You can do it at 32. There's a reason they've put it at 32 because they know that it's achievable for lads who are a bit older. So good effort on that, mate. So your RAP starts next month. Any advice? I'd say because you're slightly older, it might be quite hard for you to what I see with older recruits is that they maybe struggle to be spoken a bit crap to and look down on that because you're 30 years old, you've got a bit of life experience behind you. So be prepared that going in, that might be something that you struggle with, is like you've got a 25-year-old corporal potentially gobbing off at you, and you're in your head, you're thinking, who do you think you are? I'm 30 years old and I've done this, that, and the other. Be prepared to just put that on the side, remember, it's just one big game. They're just trying to break you. They're just trying to see, can this lad take orders, or is he, can he not do it? And just be prepared for that. And then I would just say, because you're slightly older, and just speaking from my own experience, everything takes slightly longer to warm up now. So if you need an extra 10, 15 minutes before fizz to warm up, then wake up that little bit earlier and just get yourself ready. And just those things. Be prepared. You'll know your body. You'll know your weaknesses. You'll know if you've got little niggles, say your left shoulder or your hamstring or whatever, and just make sure that you warm those things up thoroughly before any fizz. And mate, just lead. You're 30 years old, so they'll look to you to be a bit more of a leader, and don't shy away from it. You'll be sound. Hi mate, got PJFT in 17 days. Can fully do PJFT. Just failing at the plank. What's my chance of getting it sorted in 17 days? Your chances are great if you're willing to work. So you've got about 2 weeks. So you've got 14 days to train, and then I'd say give yourself a good 3 days to rest. All I would do, and one thing we put on our complete Commando course, which is in the description of all our videos, is we do a 5-minute plank, and then each couple of weeks it gradually grows. And the idea of that is, say if you put the timer on for 5 minutes, say if you get to 2.5 minutes and you have to drop, you stop the timer, give yourself a quick 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then get back in the plank and press the timer again until you've done a full 5 minutes. So regardless of how crap your plank is, you have to complete that 5 minutes. Obviously, it might take you 10 times. You might drop 10 times in that plank time, and then you get back in it. But as the weeks go, you'll get stronger and stronger until you can bang out a full 5-minute plank. And then the PJFT, which is potentially 3 to 5 minutes, depending on what route you're going, officer or not, will become easy. So that's my advice to you. Every single day, do a 5-minute plank for, say, the next 2 weeks. Give yourself a good 3 days to rest, and then you'll be good to go. Hope that helps. You're a good man. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. What's the food like with all this, with the channel and the program? I just look back. I remember being 19 years old and not really having a clue what I was getting myself into. So if any of these videos that we put on YouTube helps one person, then I feel like we've done our part and we've helped, the next generation of Royal Marines. So that's what this is all about. It's just helping people in a position that I found myself in, and just hoping that we can give them a bit more details on what's going on so they can become better Royal Marines and serve the country better. What's the food like in the Royal Marines? A lot of people gob off about it, say it's rubbish. I actually think it's not bad at all. Maybe I was deprived as a kid. It's what you'd expect. It's high volume, high calories. Obviously, it's not Michelin star stuff, but you'll probably have beans every single day of your recruit training. Full English every morning if you want it. Cereal, toast, teas, coffees, orange juice. Then in the lunches, like chips, fish, burgers, chili con carnes, pastas. They're just trying to get calories in you, because every day you're probably burning at least 5,000 calories in training. Obviously there's a budget to the MOD. They can't be absolutely squaring you away with like unbelievable scram, but it's just basically getting the volume in you. So maybe I'm not very picky because I'm a Londoner or whatever, but I enjoyed the scrum. I enjoyed it. So I joined at 70 kilos, and within 3 months I was 81 kilos. So you can see I thoroughly enjoyed my scrum in recruit training. Love the content, mate. Keep it up. Much respected. Thank you, mate. I very much appreciate that. Means a lot. Do you recommend any good weight gainers for extra calories? If you need to increase your body weight, then definitely. So if we're looking to lose weight, we need to be in a calorie deficit. So eating less calories than we burn every day. Obviously, if you're looking to gain it, we need to eat more calories than we're burning. So if you're getting ready for the Royal Marines and you're absolutely smashing your fizz, you're probably burning upwards of 3,000 calories a day. So you need to make sure that you're on that. Best way to track it is MyFitnessPal. You can just scan all the barcodes of everything you're eating, weigh your food and add that in, and then that'll give you a really good idea of how much calories you're getting in a day. In terms of weight gainers, I would just go for something simple on my protein. Really simple. They give loads of good discounts. and just get one. Basically, just get one that has got a high rating. Because it's never been an issue for me, I'm always looking to try and keep my weight down. I've never needed a weight gainer, but just literally go on MyFitnessPal and sorry, on My Protein, get the most generic weight gainer, and that'll be the one for you. You don't need to spend freaking 60 quid on all these high end powders and that. They all do the same job. And then just look to get lots of protein in every meal. So you're talking upwards of 30 grams of protein a day, a meal. We're looking at 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight minimum. Upwards of 2. You can even go to 2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So if I'm 170 pounds, or let's make it easier, if I'm 150 pounds, I'm looking for about 150 grams of protein a day upwards, even closer to potentially 300 grams, which is a lot of protein. So yeah, hope that helps. If you need more advice on that, just message me privately on our Complete Commando Instagram. Cheers for the advice, mate. I'm going the mock PJFT in 5 days a week, so got 10 days of training left. I'll do 5 planks after my mock test. No, rest days, really just rest. So should have mentioned that. The adaptation and adaption to exercise comes when you rest. So a lot of people think like, oh, I'm smashing it. I'm training 7 days a week. I haven't rested for 3 months. And it's like, you're actually not getting the benefits from your training because you're not allowing rest. It's like the equivalent of revising for an exam. If I revised for an exam 6 hours a day for 2 months, for instance, my brain would be so overloaded with information. When I got to the exam, I'd probably just bottle it. You've got to have those times of rest where you allow like your mind to take in the information and process it. And it's exactly the same with training. If you're not having your rest days, then you're not getting the adaptation and the benefits of your training. So yeah, rest days, just completely chill. Maybe a nice long walk and a good stretch. That's about it. I rate MyFitnessPal and Complete Commando app. Appreciate that, dude. It means a lot. Is it possible to join the reserves even though you live about 2.5 hours from the nearest reserve centre? It is possible, but obviously it's going to be a nightmare. They're going to want you there, especially as a recruit, once a week on, say, like a Tuesday or Wednesday night, whenever your det night is. And then they're going to want you most weekends for at least a year. So if you think I can commit to that, then go for it. However, you're going to have to travel 2.5 hours. So it's going to be hard. So I can't really answer that for you. If you feel like you can do it, then go for it. I want to sign up, but not sure if I should wait until I'm a decent standard or should I have enough time to train on last day of my test for Complete Commando. Looking forward to it. Well, I gave myself a year of training specifically for the Royal Marines. I was fit and I was training every day with like boxing. So I was already, fit. But I gave myself a good year of training. So off of that information, you got to remember, guys, that you're not going into just a generic regiment. You're going into the Royal Marines, which is an elite standard. Take it from me, from someone who's trained my whole life. It's hard and it will push you to your limits physically and mentally and emotionally. So you've got to make sure that you're physically ready. So I would always give myself longer to train than I felt necessary, because you can always do it. If you're at the right age, you've got, say if you're 19, for instance, you've got 13 years to get yourself ready for this. 6 months feels like a long time when you're not in and you're gearing up for it. But in a potential career of 22 years, 6 months is nothing. So really give yourself that time to train and get yourself ready. And then there'll be a point where you've just got to take the leap and you've just got to go, you know what, I've just got to go for it. But make sure you can do your PJFT, 3 rounds. That's hard. That might be hard for you at the moment, but during training, PJFT is quite minimal standard of what the stuff you'll be doing every day in the Royal Marines training. So just bear that in mind. And that's not to freak you out. That's just to make sure that you're aware that, you do have to be at a level to join. But like I said before, what one man can do, another man can do. What can you bring into recruit training? So you'll get a list of items you need to bring, and basically just stick to the list. There might be a few extra things that you need. So for instance, taking different colored tapes is a really good idea for you, because you'll have different padlocks and different keys, and it just means that you can go when you're in a rush and go, okay, this orange taped key goes into that orange lock, and that will save you just bags of time. But genuinely, just stick to the list, and you'll be good to go. In terms of like what supplements and stuff you can take, not really any. I think you probably get away with like omega fish oils and stuff, like tablets and that. But I wouldn't risk taking like creatine and like protein shake. I think you get protein shakes and stuff given to you now after phys anyway, so you'll be fine. Also, you're only 20 minutes on the bus from Exeter, which has got tons of shops. So if you do feel like you need to pick something up when you're out there, then that's sound as well. Currently training CrossFit 5-6 times a week. Should I drop that a bit when going through RMR training? I would just say you probably need to. You'll probably feel drained. What happens when you overtrain is all your workouts become shoddy. You start getting injuries, you start feeling shattered, and you'll know within yourself if you're doing too much. I'm not a massive believer of like every Thursday is my rest day. I really try and listen to my body, and if I wake up and I'm like, no, I feel good today, then I train. If I know I'm not feeling great, or I get into a session and like 15 minutes in, I'm like, do you know what? This is gonna be a shoddy workout, probably gonna get injured. I bin it off. HSV is a really good way as well of working out HRV, heart rate variation, is a great way of like every morning you can test your heart rate variation and see what your body's doing. Are you ready to train that day? But yeah, so I'd probably back off a little bit off your 5-6 times a week. Probably still get away with 3 or 4 a week. But if you're going into the field, say on a weekend, and that, you might just be shattered, mate. Would you recommend things like grenade protein bars, or are they not worth it? What I would say is try and get all your protein, your nutrition from your food. And if you feel like it's hard to do it, then yeah, by all means, get yourself some protein bars or protein powder. But just go cheap. My protein is a great way of getting your protein in. My protein bars are more expensive than protein powder, but obviously they're probably more tasty. So completely up to you. But yeah, I recommend it if you can't get your protein in. Signed up, Sam, on the end of the first week. Brilliant, mate. I hope it's going well. Make sure you join the Facebook group if you haven't already. If you could just one piece of advice about being a Royal Marine, what would it be? One piece of advice. To be honest, mate, I'd keep it really simple, and I would just say, be a good bloke that can be trusted. That's what that's what the Royal Marines are looking for. They're looking for someone they can trust. When you're going through training and your corporal and your sergeants are giving you a hard time, it's because they know that potentially in a year's time they'll be on the front line with you, and they want to know, can I trust this guy? Can I trust him? Is he gonna crumble when when times are hard on the front line? So be someone they can trust, be reliable, be consistent, and that's my best advice for you. For instance, I said earlier that I struggled with my admin. So what I would start doing halfway through training is getting up before the other lads in the field and just squaring my admin away. And that's what it took. I had to sacrifice another 10, 15 minutes of my sleep to make sure that I could keep up and I could be a reliable team member. And that's what they're looking for. Just looking for reliable people that they can trust. Is it normal to have days where you feel bad about your training? Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. It's normal, and they're the most important days. Obviously, if you're not overtraining and you're in a good position, you're having a bad day's training, those days are the important days where you just grind it out anyway. Like I had a bad run the other day where I felt like within a couple of miles I was like feeling rough, and I just grizzed it out, and I came away and I was like, that was an important mental barrier that I continued rather than just quitting because I felt like junk. So yeah, You're going to have plenty of them when you're in the Royal Marines, plenty of bad times when you're training. So get used to just training through them at the moment. Should I wait until 18, 19 to join, or 16? Entirely up to you. Depends what sort of level of maturity you're at, physicality, mentally, emotionally. Are you prepared to leave your family at 16? I would say if I joined any earlier, I probably would have struggled at 9. Like I joined at 19. If I'd gone before, I would have probably struggled. You might be an unbelievable candidate at 16 years old. What I would say is, looking at the long term, you've gone basically the last 12 years at school, and then you're going into another establishment. So when you get into your, say if you came out in your 30s, 40s, you might really struggle to adapt to Civvy Street because you've never had like the freedom of Civvy Street. So that's something to just bear in mind. And obviously it's a long time off from where you are now, but it's something to really consider and take seriously, because when I left full-time Royal Marines, I felt relatively comfortable because I'd already had like a civvy job before I was in the Marines, and that meant that I wasn't as scared. Whereas my brother's 16, he's been in for 20 years or so, and he's a bit worried about leaving. Can you do P company as a Royal Marine after training? You can, but it's relatively unlikely. There's only if you're at Stonehouse, I think you will get it, but it's quite hard to get onto. So yeah, sorry for the boring question, but what do you think? But do you think it's getting too late to join at 23, 24? Just worried about it being a young man's game? Absolutely not. I said I answered this a bit more before to someone who's joined at 30, and 32 is a cut-off for a reason, because you can achieve it at 32. So honestly, 23, 24, you're still a young man. 28, the next question, you're still young. I'm 31. I feel like I go through Royal Marines training now. So look after yourself. Don't drink tons. Eat well. Train every day or most days. Sleep well, 8 hours a day. You'd be good to go. Might be a stupid question, but what admin do you have to do? Just things like cleaning. Square sounds so petty, but everything's got to be perfect. You've got to fold all your kit immaculately A4, and it's just details. It's like attention to detail. If there's a bit of speck of rust on your weapon, it's like a unforgivable sin, and you just get thrashed for it. And it's just constant. You're constantly under the microscope. So a lot of cleaning, just personal appearance. Like, if you've missed a hair on your neck and you're on the parade ground, you're gonna get thrashed for it. If you've got an Irish pennant coming out of your sleeve, you're gonna get thrashed for it. And it's just things like that. And then on top of that, you're trying to learn how to be a good soldier, how to deal with your rifle, map reading, military knowledge, tactical stuff. It's just a minefield. So and bearing in mind you're getting 4 or 5 hours sleep maximum a night some nights. If you're lucky. So it's just hard. It's hard, but it's good. It's fun. I look back and I enjoy those times. What's the Scram like at Limpston? Bit of a random question. Okay, so we answered that earlier. It's just generic sort of school dinner Scram, and they're just trying to get the calories in you. So don't expect the Ritz, but like I said before, I really enjoyed it. I love food, so I was loving life. What unit is the best to go to, Sam? I've been told 4-5. Depends. Obviously, the jocks love 4-5 and Northerners love 4-5. I was predominantly at 4-2 and I really enjoyed it. Bickley Barracks, really small camp. Everyone sort of knows everyone, or you see a lot of people. Gyms 300 meters away from your accommodation, and then you're right on the center, right on the edge of Dartmoor. So I loved it. So everyone clings onto their unit. Normally their first unit, like, this is the best unit. For me, I enjoyed 4-2. Any advice for someone struggling with burpees? So 2 things you can do to improve any exercise is volume, so how many you're doing every day, and the intensity at which you do it. So one thing I was going to actually do a YouTube video on this. I'll use press ups as an example, but you can take this into your burpees. If you want to improve your press ups, your burpees, your sit ups, your pull ups, really easily. Set yourself a goal in mind, a target in mind that you would love to bang out a full set of without stopping. So for me, 100 press ups is the goal. So I've got 100 press ups in my mind. The first time I started doing it, I did it in 4 sets of 25. Did that for a week, most days, 25, 25. And then I went, right, okay, my first set's going to be 30. My second set's going to be 30. So I'm on 60. And then I do 2 20s. And then as I got used to doing 30, 30, 20, 20, went to 35, 35. And then do I need the fourth set anymore? I reckon I can get away with 3 sets now. So it's 35, 35, 30. And then what the idea is to eventually go down to just 1 set. So you gradually building it up. And now it's like, right, I can bang out 2 sets of 50. My next one will be a 60 and a 40, then a 70 and a 30, 80 and a 20, 90 and a 10. And then eventually I'll be able to bang out 100. And that's the same with your press up, with your burpees, your pull-ups, anything. So that's the volume. And then you can change the intensity. So you could be like, right, in 30 seconds, I'm going to bang out as many burpees as I can. Or I'm going to try and get 20 burpees in a minute. Obviously with the PJFT, you can't, because you've got to go to the beep. So you can just increase the volume. Like I'm going to do 20, have a quick 20-second rest, and then I'm going to do 20 again. Or if you can't get the full 20 in, you're going to go, I'm going to do 10, stop the tape, breathe for 30 seconds, do the 10. Then you're going to go, right, the next time you do it, it'll be 12 and 8. And then, you gradually build it up by that. So that's my advice on that. I'll try and do a video to explain it a little bit better. But for anything like pull-ups, press-ups, sit-ups, burpees, that's a great method of doing it. How do you deal with getting bollocked by your corporals? You've got to just remember one thing. It isn't a personal vendetta. I helped on a training team with the reserves, and I remember a lad dropped his map, and I thrashed him. And then the next day, I didn't even, if you stood them all the recruits in line, I wouldn't have even been able to tell you who it was the next day. Whereas that lad's mind, he's probably thinking, oh, he hates me. Whereas I didn't even know who the lad was. So you've got to remember that they're just trying to get you to a level, and it's one big game. They'll be like, right, let's try and get rid of 10 lads this week. And so if there's 10 weak links, then those lads will disappear. So as long as you're willing to just stick it out and grizz it out and just think this is one big game, the end goal is the green beret, I'm not leaving until I get it, then those thrashings and bollockings become meaningless in a sense. Do you get to choose what unit you go to, or do you get assigned to one? Also, I want to say thank you for your videos. They help. Appreciate that, mate. So the short answer to that is you get 2 choices. You get a preference draft on the second one, but service needs come first. So if say 4-2 are deploying on a say they're going on operation and they need to fill up 4-2 Commando, and you've put 4-5, it might be just that the next 3 troops out of training have to go to 4-2. But they'll try and look after you. So I would say 70% of the time you get your unit of choice, but they can't always accommodate to it. Would you say life in the Corps is more relaxed than the Army? I 100% would. Having been on Army barracks, RAF barracks, and Navy camps, 100% the Royal Marines is probably the most relaxed. Very professional, but relaxed when it needs to be. For instance, in the Army, you're not allowed to walk on the grass. It's just like a random rule. Marines, they don't care about stuff like that. Like, it's just big boy rules. How do you improve my runs? I can only really do 2 miles. Again, using the same method as before. So for instance, you say you can only do 2 miles. So what I would do if I was in your position is I'd run my 2 miles, then I'd give myself a 10-minute rest, and then I'd try and get another mile out. And then you drop the rest each time. So you go, right, first time it's 10 minutes. Next minute, I'm going to do 9-minute rest, 8-minute rest, until eventually you don't need a rest. And now you've banged out 3 miles. Then you do that with 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles. That's a great way of doing it. That will super help you. Can I join the Pathfinders after Royal Marines? Might be hard since it's hard to do Pecoy. You can always transfer into other units or other services at any point. It might be a little bit difficult to do with your hierarchy, but if you're just persistent, then you can. I'm in a slightly tricky position as parents are telling me to just sign up. Are telling me to just sign up and I'll be ready, but I generally struggle to do a round of PJFT at the moment. My run's good, but strength's not so much. So I would start this process, get the interview and the medicals done, because by the time all that's sorted, you're probably talking at least 8 months until your pre-joining fitness test, which is more than enough time to get that sorted. So I would listen to your parents on this one. If you get to your PJFT and you still can't do it, then you can always delay it, but go on the website today and at least start the process, mate. Have you got any advice about holding down a relationship through training? Well, I split up with my girlfriend at the time, so not really. I would say, I personally would say if it's definitely right and you definitely should be with them, then you've just got to make it work. You've got to lay it down to them and just be like, look, this is the case. I'm going to be away for 8 months a year for the next however long you're in the Royal Marines. And if they're happy with that, then it is what it is. But if they show resistance to it, then it's going to really put your career in jeopardy. So at the time that girl I was with, we had to cut it, and it was the best decision. And then later on, I met my now wife, and she was sound, and we just had to just manage it while I was in the Marines. So yeah. Is it worth training for a marathon beforehand to get used to the high level of intensity? No, I wouldn't bother, mate. A lot of people are shocked by this, but with the ROP now, you're talking the first 13 weeks, you're not going to run more than 4 or 5 miles. You're going to be doing a lot of sprint work, the gym phase of training, 800-meter camp circuits. So keep the intensity high. On our programs, we probably don't run the guys on the program more than 6 miles. And then throughout Royal Marines training, that's where you gradually build the volume. But to be honest, you don't really run more than 9 miles in training, and even that 9 miles is a speed march. So it's all about heavy kit, and it's a lot about yomping more than like, right, we're going to run 30 miles. So yeah, don't bother training for a marathon. Roughly how long until first deployment after training? Could be literally the next week. They'll try and give you a beat up before deployment, but sometimes service needs require you to just you're out 1 week, and then you're out of training 1 week, and then the next week you're deploying. But I came out of training in September, and then I deployed to Afghan in I want to say August, something like that. So just under a year. Roughly how long until first? Sorry, said that one. How do you get into Sfsg? So that's a selection process. So you put yourself forward for it, and then you've got it's like selection to get in. I can't remember the top of my head exactly what it is, but it's like fitness tests and things like that. So yeah, definitely recommend if you do it. I had the choice. So I was up in Scotland, and I had 3 choices: Squadron, Sfsg, but I had a draft coming in for 4-2 Commando to get on Herrick 14. So I wanted to go to Afghan. So I put those 2 aside, and then I went to Herrick 14, and then I never went back to Sfg. I think at the time you had to be at Faslane to get into Sfg. I'm not too sure if that's still the case now. Hi Sam, how should we adjust our training routines 1 week out from the PJFT? Just back off. So I'd give yourself at least 3 to 5 days where you're just chilling. So hammer it until about 3 to 5 days out, and then just back off. And then maybe 3 days before, just do a round of it. 2 days before, maybe another round, and then give yourself a full rest day beforehand. Quick question: I have really bad posture, curve back, knees bend inwards. What is the best way to correct this? I'm worried about exercising and doing weights as I won't injure myself. Okay, so my experience from training people in the gym is teenagers now like this, freaking 6 hours a day. So if that is you, and that's the reason you've got this rounded position, bear in mind you're at school 7 hours a day, leant over a desk, and then you get home and you're like this with an Xbox. This is obviously an issue. So what you've got to start doing is mobilizing here. So getting a foam roller in your thoracic spine, and just start lying down on it, opening all that up, strengthening your back. So with pull movements, pull-ups, seated rows, etc., and just be really aware of it. So whenever I'm stood up or I'm sitting down, I've got tension in my abs. So my abs, it's called the slap test. So anyone at any point could come past and slap you, and you're not going to get winded because my abs are firing there. They're switched on, and then that means that I've got this nice posture here rather than being freaking rounded here. But even up here, you can see I'm slightly rounded from like boxing and like yomping and things like that. So this is something I'm trying to work on as well. So all those things, there's loads of stuff on YouTube. We've got a complete movement.com, which is like daily mobility drills. It's just literally a follow along video, 15 minutes a day. So you can sign up to that as well, and that will really help your posture. Hope that helps, bud. Is there a lot of partying and drinking with the lads when you get to your unit? There is, if you're into that. I love my fizz and stuff, so I never did it. I wanted to focus on my fitness. I was playing football for the Navy under-23s in the Royal Marines, so I just I love my fitness, and just didn't like drinking, so didn't. Whereabouts have you been deployed? I don't really want to go massively into it on YouTube because it is what it is. Obviously, I've spoken before. I went to Afghan, all around the world, really. So if you're joining the Royal Marines, then mate, you're going to go all over the world. What would you say is the hardest Commando test? I'd say the 30 miler because it's the final one. You're already knackered from doing the other 3, and it's the longevity. It's like 8 hours long. But if you've got to that point, then you're ready to do it. Hi, daughter wants to join. Was wondering if sleeping areas are separate or not. They will be, mate. Yeah, I think there's been a big shift around Limpston where they've been changing all the accommodation and that, so she'll be well looked after. Just bearing in mind that obviously there's a culture change of it being a very male orientated environment, and then obviously there's no females in as of yet. So if your daughter is one of the first, then she's going to be putting herself in the firing line, so to speak. But obviously, as time develops, that'll become less of an issue. But just to be aware of it, I guess, is one of those things. Got phase 1 British Army at Harrogate. Know anything I should know? Again, just same things apply to all the videos I put on YouTube to the Army. Be someone they can rely on. Volunteer for crap details. Work hard, and exactly the same as all the advice I give on the Royal Marine videos, mate. No real special advice on that, to be honest. Do you think the ROP is better than the PRMC? Yes and no. They've done it for a reason, which I can't sit here and gob off against. I'd say the PRMC is great because it's 3 days, and like you get to know, like, has someone got the drive to get through? Because you just get fresh 3 days. However, ROP is like a gradual build up, so it makes more sense from like a scientific point of view. So long run, yeah, probably is a better option than the PRMC. What is a squadron? So at units, you have regiments or units. So you have a unit. So you've got 4-2 Commando, which is your unit, and then that unit is broken down into companies. So you've got like L company, K company, J company, and that's, so you've got them. So the unit is broken down into companies, and then companies are broken down into troops, and then troops are broken down into sections. So it's like basically just like sort of a layer system, so to speak, of numbers. So yeah, That's the best way to explain it. And then Squadron's more is only really applies to 4-3 Commando, and then I think you've got Squadron down at 4-2 now. So it's basically similar. It's basically like a troop. Would be like a squadron. Best way to get better at pull-ups. I can't do any at the moment, but all other training progressing. I've got a 10 exercise YouTube video to get better at your pull-ups. So have a look, scroll through our videos, and you'll see that one. It's like 10 exercises to improve your pull-ups. So have a look at that, mate, and that will massively help you. Starting in fitness for PRMC in a few months, but I'm not seeing any improvements in times for 5 to 6 miles. Any tips? Well, you're not going to need to run those distances for ROP. Start focusing on like 800 meters to 3 miles and just increasing that, breaking it down. So you go like for 800 meters, for instance, a good way to improve it would be like doing like 6 sets of 400 meters at like 80-90% with 2-minute rests in between, and then you can gradually build the distance and the intensity up as well. Or you can jump on our course, and then that will get you ready. Not sure what it is. It's hypermobility maybe, but I lock my knees out and they bend back quite a bit. I try not to, but would I fail? If you're hypermobile, you potentially fail. I would speak to a local physio, and it's about strengthening all the muscles around those individual joints is the best way. So your quads, calves, anterior tibialis, yep, hamstrings, all around the knees. Really improve those muscles. Yeah, but definitely see a physio local to you, mate. You heard much about the candidates preparation course? Just looking into it at the moment, so I'll do a video hopefully soon on that, and I'll get back to you on that. Will new recruits be trained on the CA or SAAT? I think SAAT still, and then it will gradually change over, but it takes a few years because obviously it's millions and millions of pounds to move over weapon systems. Hunt wanted to know if you can go to university whilst in the Marines, and if you can, get uni paid for or not. Thanks for your videos, appreciate it. Cheers, dude. Yes, so you can do like an open university while you're in. You'll have bags of time to do it in unit life. When you come out, you can actually get a degree paid for as well, which is a little known fact. I think you've got up to 10 years to claim that, and they'll pay for a full degree. Got any good bits from the grots you've been in? I have loads, but probably not many I can share on here, to be honest, without getting contacted by the MOD or the Sun. But that's more stuff I share in the members group on our Complete Commando Facebook group. Hi Sam, have you heard anything about the new candidate preparation course? It's apparently being introduced around September, and my recruiter is still waiting for information. I'm in the same position. I've got like someone on the case at the moment, but I'll get back to it, and I'll let you know as soon as I find out. Finish A levels around July next year. When should I apply? Before or after the exams? I'd apply now. You know, definitely like or in the next couple of months. And get the ball rolling. It's a long process. It takes easily 8 months, like minimum. So get the ball rolling now, mate. And you can always delay it if you need to. Hello, mate. Any recommendations for RM focused gym session or something else? So I've got the gym program, the Complete Commando gym program. If you go on the link of any of these videos, it's in there, and that's all gym focused, and it gets you ready for the Royal Marines. So that will super help you. Can I improve my bleep test score? How can I improve my bleep test score? If you go on the bleep test video, there's some good advice on there. But basically, it's just about doing it and working on being specific to your training of the bleep test. So loads of agility work, loads of bleep test stuff. What I like to do is say if you're at the moment hitting a 12 on your bleep test, then start the bleep test at level 6 or level 8 and then you'll be able to go further and further, and then adaptation of that will improve. And then next time you can start on level 5, level 4, level 3 until you can adapt from level 1. It's a great way of doing it. Another way is like doing the full bleep test, giving yourself, and then on the, say if you miss the next bleep, rest, and then hit the next bleep, rest, hit the next bleep. So start missing out every other bleep until you fail there as well. And that's a great way of adapting to the later rounds. So a few things there, but if you go on the bleep test video, that will help as well. Wait, really? Don't know what that's. Yes, so the British, the military, any military service will pay for a degree. They keep it on under wraps because obviously they want to save money, but yeah, you can get a degree paid for. Full 3 years. Can a 16-year-old do the course? Yeah, 100%, mate. Definitely. Thinking about signing up for a few years, but want to start building my fitness levels early. What would you recommend? Again, we've got our programs. You can jump on that, or just start really working on like all body weight movements and your running. They're the two main areas I'd really start focusing on, trying to do it like most days and get into a real good habit of getting ready in that regard. What area of training would you say has the highest dropout rate? I would say the first, in terms of like the 1 point, I would say the first couple of weeks. It's called the shock of capture, and people are, it's a big shock going from Civvy Street into the military. So if you can just grizz it out for the first sort of 6 weeks, then you settle into it and then you're good to go. Can Commonwealth citizens join the Royal Marines this year? My friend and I want to join, but we're in South Africa. Hoe gaan dit met jou? My throat is Afrikaans. I don't know when they're reopening it because of COVID. It's just shut it all down, but it will be open as soon as they can when the whole COVID thing opens. But just cling on, and you'll be able to join at some point. Hi, after recruiters earned his or her green beret, what sort of medical specializations are open for Marines? I've heard about the medical assistant role is open to boot next. Yeah, you can be like, I don't know tons about this, but you can basically be a medic, which is really good training, and you go off to rally and you do all your training courses there. I think you even do like uni stuff. So there's lots of options on that. It's actually a really good course, and you get some hoofing trips out of it. And anyone who deploys always needs medics, so you get loads of cool trips out of it. Can you switch from being Army to the Marines? Yes, you can. You might get a bit of fight back from your hierarchy, but you can do it. How used to front crawl through training? Yeah, I would say, off the top of my head, I think breaststrokes used more because you've got imagine you've got webbing and kit on and stuff. Front crawl will be quite hard, so get used to breaststroke more. Do you reckon the CPC will be guaranteed pass if you just dig out and show you aren't a quitter, or will it be score based? Normally it's score based. So ROP, last week of ROP is score based, but it's very important that you just dig out and don't quit as well. Is it true on the first week they say you're going to have an easy day and it's actually the worst day or something? They play all sorts of mind games with you throughout training. So they'll say like, right, lads, you're going to get thrashed later. And then like you spend the whole day worrying and then it doesn't happen. And then other days you do get thrashed and stuff. So, but you just get used to go like, whatever happens, happens. We're going to get thrashed at some point. So it's what it is. But yeah, there's something called cheeky week. And it's like, you're just on bottom field all the time getting thrashed. But that's later on in training. What part of training did you find hardest? Said this before, it's just the admin side of it. It was just literally just being prepared all the time, being ready for timings, just constant scrutiny, etc. It's just the longevity of that is hard. Do the Royal Marines do open days at Limpston? They do look at life, which is like for like 16-year-olds and stuff, but I think your school has to book it, something like that. Do you have to have a level of natural talent in phys to complete training, get to CTC, or do you just have to work hard coming from an unfit background? You just have to if you're not naturally fit, which no one's naturally fit to get ready for the Royal Marines, you've just got to start implementing it into your everyday life. So yeah, you've just got to literally make it part of your everyday life and just learn to love it, because that is the career you're going into, is a very much a fitness driven career. So yeah, basically just get used to training most days. Is there some sort of military driving school? Do you learn to drive and pass tests on Civvy Street after training? Yeah, so I got all my driving licenses straight after training at Leconfield. I think they're doing it now at Limpston. So it's all, I think now at the moment, you will, you finish recruit training and then they'll get you through your driving test straight away. I think that's what they're doing at the moment. How important is swimming through training? Yeah, super important. But you know, I'm not the greatest swimmer. I just worked really hard in training and I got through it. So you don't have to be like Michael Phelps or anything like that. But make sure you are preparing your swimming before you go. Is MPCT good before you join? MPCT. I'm not sure what that means. Sorry, mate, if you elaborate to that. Sorry. Got no question throughout training. How many days do you get to go home to see your family? You get more weekends off later on in training. So it depends how far away you lived. I never bothered because I lived miles away. So I just got used to being on base. But gradually through training, you get like a weekend off here and there. You get 2 weeks off for Easter, 3 weeks for summer, and 2 weeks for Christmas. Is that the new Complete Commando shirt? Yes, just trialing it at the moment. We've got 3 new designs coming, so this is one of them, which I quite like. I might change that slightly. We'll have a look, but they'll be released this month, hopefully. Were you a Fizz Monster before Marines, or did that happen later? Yeah, so before I was training like 6 times a week, sometimes twice a day, because I was training for boxing. And then before that, I was at Watford playing football. So I'd, you know, spend 2 years there training 4 days a week and then 1 or 2 matches a week as well. So, and then before that, obviously, I just, you know, at school, I loved fitness as well. So yeah, just love fitness, mate. And then got into the Marines, and then it was a whole different world of fitness, and so just adapted into that, and still love it now at 31. Can doing a physical job while training to get fit harm your process? Could harm it or could help it. So really depends. If you're a builder or something like that, then you're going to be super strong and have that sort of mong strength that like construction workers have. So it might super help, but it might just mean you're more fatigued and you need to be cleverer with your training. Where can I get that t-shirt? We will release the website this month as well. So we're just waiting on all that. And then we'll release that. Don't you worry about that. How much sleep do you get in training? Really depends. At the start, minimal. And then, you know, as you get further down, it's more and more. But when you're in the field, you get absolutely no sleep pretty much for like 3 days at a time. Any insight into what Royal Marines officer training is like? So I've got that interview with my friend Dan, the Royal Marines officer, and he speaks all about Royal Marines officer life and training, etc. So yeah, that will help you. How long did you prepare for Royal Marines training? 1 year, I did specifically for that. Your body weight running and gym program is the £70 one-off payment cover that too, or is it just covering the $9.99 plan? Yeah, that just covers that plan. This month we'll have a little rejig with that, and we'll offer like a one-off payment for the gym program as well. So that will come out again this month. We've got t-shirts coming out, website coming out, and the gym plan one-off payment is coming out this month as well. So that's all coming at this point. What weight should you go into? Hard question to answer because you could be really tall, really small, etc. I would just say you want to see at least 4 of your abs. So if you can see at least 4 of your abs, you're probably at a good percentage of body weight. Don't be too ripped where you've got like a 20 pack, and don't be sitting there with a party pack. That's my best advice. I love my CC shirt, but don't wear it in public because I don't want to look like a water mitty. That's why. So we've got new design where it's the logo. So it's the CNC with the dagger down the middle for anyone who doesn't want to walk around people thinking that. But this isn't saying you're in the military. This is just supporting the military, and percentage of everything we earn goes to the Royal Marines charity as well. So you know that in wearing your t-shirt, you're getting you're helping a good cause. My mum and dad are very against the idea of me joining. I don't know how to tell them any ideas. I've got a video on that, why your family should want you to join the military. So maybe watch that video with them. It's designed to watch it with your parents. And then after the video, you can talk about some of the stuff in that video. That will really help. Is there a minimum amount of years of service before applying to SF selection, for example, if you're applying for SBS? No, there isn't. You can apply straight out of training, and I'd recommend actually doing it closer to training than further away, because you're in the training mindset. What do you think about the Royal Marines trialing the MRZR vehicles to be used in service? I don't know much about that, to be honest, mate. I'm a little bit out of the loop on that at the moment. But yeah, I'll look into that and have a better answer for you. So I can't really gob off on that at the moment. What weekly mileage you should be aiming to train to run before joining? I wouldn't. It's a good question. I wouldn't really focus on weekly mileage as such. I would focus on. I would focus more on shorter distances than you think. As I said earlier in this video, a lot of your running early stages will be sprint work, 800 meters and like 50-meter sprints in the gym phase and stuff. So I would focus on like high intensity runs, and then maybe one or two sort of 4 to 6 milers a week is what I would focus on. Which it blows people's mind when I say that, but honestly, the first 13 weeks of training, you'll be doing a lot more high intensity, low volume running. How was your 30 miler experience, and how was it getting green lid? Were you in any doubt? 30 miler was hard, but amazing experience. And getting the green beret, coming over that bridge was like, yeah, amazing feeling of just relief, like finally done it. I got injured in training, so it took me 11 months. It was like, I've finally done it. Like persevered, got through it when, you know, it looked bleak and stuff like that. It was amazing. So yeah, it was in doubt. It was in doubt most days in training, like for anyone. But you just stick with it, and you freaking grizz it out and you get it. Is being tall hindrance or benefit in the Royal Marines? Depends, because you could be really tall and really weak, or you could be really tall and strong. You could be really small and strong, or really small and weak. So it will help your yomping if you're strong. Yeah, I'm 5'8" and never struggled with any physical test. And then I know lads who are 6'2" and never struggled. So it really depends on your physicality rather than your height. Do you have any advice on how to prepare mentally for the Royal Marines? Put yourself in the hurt locker, train super hard, cold showers, get used to waking up early, get used to when you don't feel like doing stuff like tidying your room, do it, and just get used to being reliable and just being a good person, basically. One thing you would have prepared for more if you knew how it was going to be in training. All the things I just listed there: cold showers, getting up early, setting a good routine. Yeah, map reading. Go on the YouTube Royal Marines map reading videos and watch all them once or twice, just to give you a basic knowledge of map reading. That will hold you in good stead. Did you ever play enemy for SF, guys? No, I don't think I have. No. Did I? No. Are there language courses you can take in the Royal Marines? Yeah, if you can actually apply to go like Special Reconnaissance Regiment, and you can do like linguistic training and that. So if you show if you show that you're good at languages, then you can be put on those courses. What percentage of applicants actually make it through training to get a green lid? Well, we started with 60 lads and we finished with 12. So, which is about the norm. Yeah. So 0.01. Yeah. Do you think you could do the course again and pass first time? I think I could. I think I would struggle with just being a recruit again and having to be submissive and stuff. I think I'd struggle now, but yeah, all the physicality side, the map reading, the admin stuff wouldn't be an issue now. But yeah, good question. Is it hard to learn map reading? I struggled with it. I'm a bit of a biff. So yeah, just watch those videos on YouTube, and that will really help you. What do you think about the Royal Marines trialing drones? I think it's the way forward, and it like less lives at risk. more damage inflicted and more reconnaissance. Like, it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, 100%. Would you recommend recommend joining the Royal Marines as an officer? If you like the leadership, if you show that that's like your thing, if you go on that Royal Marines officer video, that will really help you make your mind up whether that's the path for you. Guys, so I'm going to do one more question and then I've got to shoot. So that's an hour and 5 minutes of gobbing off. So yeah, no more questions if that's all right. And then I'll try and do this more regularly, maybe once a month. Thank you very much for everyone getting involved. Really appreciate it. And hopefully it's been really helpful. So yeah, I'll bang out these 2 questions. Seriously, can you just apply for SF training? I heard you have to do 3 to 4 years first. No, you can just apply. You can put yourself forward for it. What sort of trainings were most common during training? How would you prepare to avoid them? Shin spins is a massive one. I've got a shin spins video. It's like a minute long. Just gives you loads of good techniques to stop them. So yeah, get on that. Shin splints and hips, knees, just stretch, do your mobility, strengthen your stuff. We've got completemovement.com. Go on that. That will help you. 15 minutes a day. I think it's $4.99 a month. If you use CC350, that gives it £3.50 a month. So yeah, cool. Guys, legends, appreciate all of you. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Really helps us just give better content. And I just hope that in your journey to getting into the Royal Marines or the military or whatever career you go down, that this channel and our Instagram has helped. That's what we're doing it for. So thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate it. And hopefully speak to you soon. Cheers.